Hi everyone, this is Neil from Project Portfolio Office, and I just want to make a short video introducing our new enhancement related to the Key Metric widget. However, before I dive into the enhancement, let me quickly reiterate what the Key Metric widget allows us to do. The Key Metric widget was introduced to give a view at a glance of a value you can count, sum, take the max, min, or average of. For example, the sum of the budget of a list of projects. We have now introduced a calculated option which allows you, the user, to use a puzzle-like blocks to create key metrics for a greater range of information. For example, we can now create metrics like the percentage of projects with red governance or the percentage of overdue risks, which I will quickly illustrate for you. So here I'm on my home page and I'm going to navigate to the key metric example tab that I have set up. I'm going to add a panel with a key metric widget for our risk table. You'll see that it defaults to the number of risks. Once added, this defaults to a count of the number of risks I have. Now when I configure my widget, I have this calculation type option available. But before we go into that, let's cover the basic attributes that we can set here. As I've mentioned before, we can take the count of the number of risks, or we can do the sum, average, maximum, or minimum of some type of measure. Let's, for example, take the sum of the days overdue here. We can set our own caption, and we can specify the color of our widget, either via a fixed color, or we can specify a condition, or set a range for our metric. Now that we know the basics, let me introduce you to the calculated key metric option. Once I click on this option, the settings are reset, and now that you know the basics, let me introduce you to the calculated key metric option. Once I click on this option, the settings are reset and we now have a canvas to work on. We can now set the field type for this metric to one of the following: currency, decimal, integer, or percentage. For the currency type, you can set the number of decimals as well as a currency symbol. For decimals, you can specify the number of decimals. Integer is just a number. And for percentage, you can set the decimals. We add the percentage symbol and multiply the answer of your calculation by 100 so that you don't need to. The caption and color attributes remain the same. I'll quickly demonstrate how to create the percentage of overdue risks. I will choose percentage as my field type and set the caption to percentage of overdue risks. And I'll pick the color red for now. Before I create my calculation, allow me to quickly show you the different toolboxes with the different blocks available. In the field toolbox, we have all the integer, decimal, percentage, custom list, rag, and yes and no fields available. In the math toolbox, we have a constant number, the arithmetic operator, and the other operators like sum and average, count and count if. In the logic toolbox, we have a comparison block, an if-else block, a negation block, and a block to chain logic with and or. So now to build my calculation. From the fields toolbox on the left, I can select the field that I need. Since I want to get a percentage of the overdue risks, I will use the overdue custom list block. I'll then drag my count if block onto the canvas and slot this piece inside. This will give me the count of all the overdue risks. I will also need the count of the total risks. And finally, I will need the arithmetic block to divide these two blocks with each other. And now once I press save, we will have a red block showing the number of overdue or the percentage of overdue risks. Now that you know how to build your own calculation, here are some more examples of key metrics you are now able to build. We use a sum, an arithmetic block, and two measure fields, and we take the difference between the estimated hours and the estimate to complete. To get the percentage projects with a negative progress variance, we'll have a COUNTIF block and take a count of all the projects where the variance is less than 0 and divide that by the count of all the projects. We can also do the sum of a total budget for all active projects only, and this uses an if-else block. So we will take the sum of all the total budget values where the status of the project equals active. See what you build with this tool. If you haven't subscribed to our blog yet, please do so. You can simply go to our blog from the website or from the application. Enter your email address, your first name, last name, and click you are subscribed to our blog. Thanks for watching.